Welcome back to the Various Numerous Podcast, episode 39, powered by our sponsors, as well as Bryer.io. You can always find the Various Numerous Podcast on my website, Bryer.io/podcast. Also, you can check out my books over there, available in the bookstore, articles, homepage with a lot of previous episodes of the podcast over on the homepage. Learn a little bit more about me and some other things going on. But as I noted here, powered by, firstly, these are the audio episodes here. Firstly, Cheesecake Swap. What is Cheesecake Swap? Cheesecake Swap is an AMM and yield farm application built on a BSC. So you can go over there and check them out. Right now, total value locked over $4.2, almost $4.3 million. And give them a look. That's our first sponsor of the day. Flashcoin, our second sponsor of the day, is a reinvention of Litecoin built to scale for everyday transactions. You can check them out over at flashcoin.io with a settlement time of around 5 seconds and consensus within 2 minutes. Anyone, anywhere can use Flash mobile wallet as easily as cash or credit card. I always mention that I like their mobile app. They have a little map on it. Inside their mobile wallet, they have a little map of merchants around the world accepting Flash. So it's pretty cool for people that are interested in cryptocurrency still as a medium of exchange and not just a store of value or a speculative tool, people that actually want to use it to buy goods and services. Flashcoin's really trying to do things with that. So check them out, flashcoin.io. And today, without further ado, I talked to Jacobo of Nami and Niffy, their founder, CEO. It was a great conversation with Jacobo Toll-Messia, who I found out is a Real Madrid supporter. I'm a Barca supporter, so we had a laugh about that. We talked about a lot of different things. His project, scaling with the layer 2 solution to Ethereum. The token, the foundation of the token, whether it's an ERC20 or ERC 677 or 667. What else? 677. What else? We talked about the tokenomics, the breakdown of the tokenomics, partnerships, what he's done in the past, what he built in the past, which was very successful systems for content and all sorts of stuff. So very interesting conversation. So without further ado, here's the episode. I hope everybody enjoys it. Please smash the like button, subscribe for more of these, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Welcome back to the Various and Numerous Podcast, episode 39. Our guest today has worked for IBM, Intesa, Nortel Networks, and Chevron. He has extensive experience with large IT projects across diverse industries, including investment banking, oil, gas, and content delivery. He's also been working on scaling Ethereum since 2018, as far as I know, and Bitcoin as well. Welcome to the Various and Numerous Podcast today, Mr. Jacobo Toll-Messia. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name too badly there.
That was good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Your project, full disclosure, I'm invested in Nami currently, and I'm looking at the IDO tomorrow for NiffI. So full disclosure to everybody, I have invested in this project. So just want to get that out of the way before we get started here. So I always want to ask people a little bit about their personal upbringing or whatever, where you got started in life. Where are you from?
So I was born in Spain, left to Spain in 1997, I believe. I went to London, where I lived as well for a few years, and I met my wife, and now I happen to be in Norway, Bergen, Norway.
You made it your travels around. Okay, I like it. I got a brief backstory. You're Real Madrid fans, and I'm a Barca fan, so we're going to try to get through this interview peacefully. But yeah. So when did you start getting interested in tech?
Oh, in tech. I think I was in my early 20s, I was 18, 19. I wanted to study medicine at first, but my grades were not good enough. So I was a bit lost, and I was suggested to look into this thing called software engineering. I looked into it. Yes, I had a computer when I was much younger, and I did a bit of basic programming. And yeah, I was pretty much accidentally ending up in studying software engineering. So,
what year did you find? Was it Bitcoin or was it Ethereum, or when did you start getting? When did crypto come onto your radar?
So of course, as a geek, you're exposed to the latest and greatest trends. Sometimes can be kind of a bit of an underground trend. I was surprised the other day. My wife reminded me if I was a bit sore for not having gotten into Bitcoin in 2010, when apparently I brought it up to her. But definitely it wasn't until late 2016 when I started diving a bit more into blockchain, more particularly Ethereum. I have to say though that in 2000, I believe, I did a master's degree. No, in 2001, yeah, a master's degree in distributed computing systems. So I've always been I've had a degree of proximity to distributed systems and how data can be stored in multiple places and concurrency and even some different level of protocols. But in blockchain, not until late 2016.
So when you saw Ethereum, your eyes lit up. If you already had the background in distributed systems, you probably thought that this is like obviously that sort of thing on steroids, or?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, at the beginning, I didn't really get it too much. So I would say that the learning curve is quite steep, even if you have a technical background, mainly because it is not yet another protocol, it's not yet another programming language, it's not yet another database, it's just a bunch of different technologies mixed together. Ad game theory, which clearly not everybody knows a lot about. So the learning curve is quite steep. So if all you want to do is just learn about Solidity, that's fine, right? You of course will have to also get familiarized with the tooling and some of its own idiosyncrasies. But if you want to understand the entire platform as a set and what problems can it solve and why is it better than, for example, doing it in a pure centralized manner, then yeah, I would say that the learning curve is quite steep.
What is it about decentralization that excites you? Because for me, finding Bitcoin was like an outlet to sound money, and it was before Ethereum, obviously, and then Ethereum, I see all this other value. What is it to you? Are you sort of a crypto anarchist, or what's your take on, you just interested in interoperability and making these things work, or in free markets, or where are you at?
So I have to say at the very beginning, so probably if I might have mentioned Bitcoin to my wife at the very beginning, I might have mentioned it as a tech, right? As something that popped up. Clearly I had no idea what it was or how it worked. And I have no issue admitting that. So I'm not a crypto anarchist. I'm not no. I am. I would say I'm quite pragmatic. I like problem solving. I like most importantly building really cool stuff that brings a different angle, that provides companies or individuals an edge. I do believe that, of course, blockchain has come to stay. There's no question about that. I don't think there's a turning point in that sense. And I believe that, at least personally, I'm quite interested, for example, in finding new monetization techniques to, for example, content, which is what took us originally to look into blockchain, right?
Yeah.
And, I'm quite happy talking about that for hours. The content is something that I learned a little bit about. So we were serving 50 million users a day, and we burn our fingers enough times trying different things. But I would say that I'm a pragmatic guy, and I've been in technology for 26 years. So it doesn't make any sense just to be obtuse and narrow-minded and thinking that this is the best thing since the sliced bread, because it isn't. Blockchain is still far away from mainstream adoption in a generalized way. So things are being built, and that's what we're doing.
I think it's awesome what you guys are up to. You founded, am I pronouncing it right, Huobi in 2007, and have worked full time since 2013 there as the CEO. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. So I set it up as a weekend and evening project. At that time, I was working in the oil and gas industry. I was traveling a bit too much. We were building some cool projects for Chevron and in the States and in Scotland through a company here in Bergen. And you know, I remember from my days in London, I used to like going to the pub on the weekends with my mates and having a beer and just relaxing, reading the newspapers. So at that time, when I was traveling so much in the oil and gas, I got fed up. I was having small kids and everything. So I was like, fuck, would I do something different? What would I like to do? And I immediately thought about going to the pub and opening those newspapers. But again, I don't remember what part of the world I was. And then I realized, well, what kind of newspapers would I find here? And that is how the idea of the content marketplace came up. So we did a location-based news aggregator. That was the original product that we built. And then from that, we pivoted towards basically a platform to provide content to different companies like Telenor, Mozilla, Xiaomi, Panasonic. We were pre-installing 2.5 million televisions. We were pre-installing 5 million CTE phones, and then from there we end up looking into blockchain. There you go.
That's pretty awesome. I didn't know that backstory. So is Nami actually under that umbrella of Hubi then?
Yes. So Hubi, the company, has changed name to get rid of one of our really bad marketing ideas. So now the company is called Nami and the protocol is called Nami. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to get some clarification on that.
Sorry about that. It is.
No, I just wanted to make sure. Architecture of the token. You guys are an ERC20 or you're an ERC 677?
ERC20.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I know you're blockchain agnostic. I wasn't sure if it was which one it was. Okay. So does that have any sort of effect on you guys in working with other chains, or not really, in your opinion?
Well, so back to your comment that we are blockchain agnostic. It is true that when we designed Nami, the protocol, we designed it in a way, kind of from the ground up, to be able to port Nami to other blockchains. Those other blockchains, though, would have to support or have smart contracts. That way, we could port it. So that is why a couple of years ago we were talking about interoperability. So we could port Nami to, for example, Bitcoin via Rootstock, or we could port it to other blockchains that support the smart contracts. Yeah, and then of course, if we would do that, then probably that token would have to be replicated on those other blockchains.
Okay. Well, this is a little bit of a I don't know how you answer this question, but I have to ask you. What do you view your Matic has had a lot of success lately. What do you think about them? Are you guys complementary? Are you competitors? What's your thoughts?
It's like you like Barcelona and I like Real Madrid. I don't I will not look at you with bad eyes because you like Barcelona. As I mentioned to you before the podcast, above anything else, I'm a football or soccer fan. And about Matic, well, I think that Matic has to be given credit, right? And this also goes back before about if I was a blockchain maximalist or not. No, I totally am. I'm a pragmatic. So I think that Matic has to be given credit for having taken advantage of the market conditions, right? So pretty much all competitors of ours have massively underperformed. Very few of them has delivered anything. Matic, I know that they had their own issues as well a couple of years ago. They are based on, I believe, if I remember correctly, they're based on MVP, minimum viable plasma. Their network is, well, it is what it is. When I say they have done some things well, I mean that they have taken advantage of the market conditions and they have been able to onboard some customers, right? Quite a bit of them. And I know that the token is doing well and there are transactions going on, which is great. But it's also true that maybe their security might not be the best one. So they're running a bunch of nodes that they fully control. And I don't think that they rely the same way as we rely on Ethereum for security. So as with every software product, they might have got some corners and made some compromises. But credit where credit is due, and that's good.
For the record, I don't own any Matic. I'm curious. You mentioned security. Can you, without getting too in depth and off track here, could you give like some brief explanation of like what you've done differently with the security on Nami?
So we have dedicated a crazy amount of time to rule ourselves as the potential bad actors of the system. So if you look at our auto smart contract deployment, it's probably still the biggest to date in Ethereum. So we wanted to make sure that if any of us wanted to go rogue, we couldn't walk away with people's money. And that's what we have achieved, right? And again, not because I'm too transparent and blunt, it means with the previous assessment I've just made, it means that we wanted to go away with people's money. So, and if somebody wants to use that, it's fine against us. But I need to repeat it. We have dedicated crazy amount of time and money to make sure that we cannot do things wrong, right? And that is ultimately the kind of item that everyone looking at a layer 2 should be should be thinking about, right? Like, can I trust this layer 2? So can I deposit the money in this smart contract? And can I withdraw anytime I want without the operator stopping me from doing that, right? But I think as well, I sense at least after over 100 discussions with blockchain experts in the industry, I sense that very few of them actually get it.
Yeah, that's a good explanation right there. That suffices for me. Let's back to the token real quick. Tokenomics. There's 120 billion. I'm having a hard time pinning down the exact circulating supply, though. I see different numbers in different places. I didn't know if you could tell us how many are in circulation now, or if you know offhand or not.
Absolutely. So I can tell you right now. So there are. So actually, the token economics are pretty simple, right? Let me find a second. Yeah. So the token economics are actually pretty simple. So there are 120 billion, as you said. We have a release schedule of 1 billion per month. Therefore, will take 10 years. We have been on mainnet for 30 months. Therefore, there are 30 billion tokens that have been deployed, right? But the question is, where are those tokens, right? And it's actually not too difficult. So those tokens are not under our control. Those tokens have been distributed. And we currently have on Nami, on the layer 2, we have 19,960,495,179. And then the delta, which would come up to 10,340,000 million, would be on the mainnet, right? So what happens is that we eat our own dog food. So every month when we deploy that billion tokens, we do that using our protocol, right? So because it's basically faster and cheaper, simple. And also because ultimately, if you build a product but you don't dare to use it, then that should be, kind of a red flag, right? Yeah. So we're for 3 months. What is true though, is that unfortunately, because of the Ethereum gas prices, it is, at this moment, it's prohibitively expensive to withdraw from Nami onto the main chain. So out of the 30 billion, only 10 have actually been withdrawn. And that is why if you look on Etherscan, you might only see 10 billion. But if you would pay a bit more attention, then there is the second, if you go to the holders of the token, the main holder, it is a contract that currently has got 90 billion, because 30 plus 90 is 120. And then the second has 19,960 million. And this one, it is a contract that I believe is called client fund, which is where the tokens are held until you withdraw them, right?
So the team isn't actually holding on to any per se then? Is that my understanding correctly?
I'm not saying that. Of course, that the team is rewarded and the team has a small allocation, yeah. But what I'm saying is that that smart contract, the client fund, is so. If I send you right now 1,000 NiiFI tokens on Nami, and on the layer 2 is going to be a transaction from my wallet to yours.
Right.
And then you will have that balance, but that money, because it's not yet in the base layer, it will be held in a smart contract. And then if you want to withdraw from the layer 2 back into the layer 1, you will need to do a transaction. And that transaction is actually 3 transactions, and that is expensive. That is why many people hasn't yet withdrawn from the client fund.
Okay, I understand you now. Thanks for explaining that.
No problem.
Yeah. Your partnership with Microsoft, can you talk about like how that came about? Because that's obviously a pretty big deal in this space to be partners with Microsoft.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And it's a big deal. It's just a partnership, right? It's a big deal mainly for companies that don't have anything else to talk about. It's a big deal for companies like that. And unfortunately, in the crypto space, there are a lot of them. In our case, so we have known them for a couple of years, and we have good contacts there. At first, they were looking for basically blockchain solutions that they could add to their arsenal of products to offer to the customers. So we signed a partnership, and we're still in partnership with them. We uploaded a few elements to the Azure marketplace, and since then we have had a few dozen conversations with different teams to see what else we could be doing on Nami. And more specifically, these last, I would say, 8-9 months, we have been accelerated. We have had more concrete discussions around one particular use case where we could be integrating Nami with one of the products. So it is like any other business discussion, any other business relationship. You have a partnership. That is good. Partnership shows intent. That is what it shows. But after that, then you need to nail down the real angle that you're going to do together to go to market.
Okay, I was wondering. I saw one of what was it? Somebody, their blockchain lead or something like that on Twitter the other day mentioning you guys, I think. So I was curious.
Really?
I think I saw something in that regard. Yeah, I don't want to spread fake news, but I think I was sent a message on that. So I have to double check when we get off here.
I haven't seen it, but yeah, please share it. I would like to. No, I mean, again, there are hundreds of thousands of employees in Microsoft, and our experience so far has been pretty good. I can tell you that, more specifically, one of the use cases, or the use case that has been discussed the most, is around IoT. I think that there is a potential angle, but quite frankly, it comes down to time and resources. And not only that, I mean, as I indicated at the very beginning of your question, that partnerships are important in this space, mainly for companies that don't have anything else to offer. In reality, if you're going to do something with any partner, you need to understand what is the return of investment, right? So how much effort you need to put in, and what are you going to get in return? So if you want to make an announcement of a partnership with a listing on Binance, that I'm sure that is going to do something really good for you in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to do absolutely nothing.
Right.
I think that we're notoriously annoying to the Moon and Lambo kids for not giving up to that pressure. So, yeah.
I try to stay out of the Lambo projects personally, the Moonboy projects. So I know where you're coming from, but there's a lot of people that want to hear those big, they want news every day, something that they can,
And I don't blame them, right? I mean, just to be very clear, we're running a for-profit company. So I've got shareholders and I've got investors, and I need to show results, but it should be something else than just announcing a partnership. What do you think, so?
I agree with you. Or pre-announcing a partnership, announcements of announcements. Some people in the space do that. On Twitter they announce we have an announcement coming out. So when did you what came first? You started working on Ethereum and then Rootstock with Bitcoin, or how did that work?
Well, so at the very beginning, when you introduced me, you indicated that I've been working in scaling since 2013. That is actually not me. That is our COO, Mark, who has been working around scaling since 2013. That's right. First of all, on the Lightning Network. And more recently, in 2017, he was involved in Plasma with Ben Omisego. So he's the guy that, that knows better than anybody else around the scaling subject. So Rootstock. So with Rootstock, we have looked at it in a fair amount of detail. We actually have got, I don't know if it's a partner or good friends that are very close to the Rootstock team. We did some basic tests by porting some of our smart contracts onto Rootstock. They pretty much worked out of the box, mainly because so there's a team that has ported the EVM from Ethereum into Bitcoin, and the whole point is that any smart contract, any Solidity smart contract that runs on Ethereum should run effortlessly or seamlessly on Rootstock. But quite frankly, we haven't done any solid work on that field. No.
I was curious if you thought that maybe in the future that Bitcoin could actually handle the smart contract space on its own. That's a very maybe not on its own, but become the not Ethereum killer per se, because like I talked about with me before we got on here, I'm not a maximalist, but what do you think about that? Like there seem to be people that still think that Bitcoin, and it means some pretty big names in the space, think that Bitcoin can actually handle the smart contract, the weight of smart contracts, the bulk of them or whatever you want to say. Well, do you think that's possible, or just like, talking about it, like this,
Yeah, I mean, of course that just the fact that I'm an engineer by education and been building products for 26 years, it doesn't make me qualified to give very particular opinions about blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain, because I don't know that much about it. But what I do know, though, is that the guys at Rootstock have done a pretty good, solid job building what effectively would be a layer 2 or maybe even a layer 3 it would be a layer 2 by supporting the EVM, the Ethereum EVM. Now, would you want to turn the Bitcoin blockchain into an Ethereum killer? Again, I'm not a maximalist or anything. I do think, though, that I think that Bitcoin has found its sweet spot, right? In the market, it's like a startup. So when you have a startup, you have this epiphany of an idea, and then you go and try it, and it fails, and you try 1,000 ideas. One of them works. Once it works, you stop being a startup. You just have to become as good as you can at that thing. So I think that Bitcoin has found that sweet spot, and it wouldn't make much sense to kind of change the narrative, because that is very dangerous. But still, having a bridge that seamlessly can help to make money flow from A to B to C to D is a hell of an idea. And we just have to see how well has picked up, for example, wrapped Bitcoin, right? It is by no means a layer 2. It is probably a clunky process. I think is BitGo that you use as a custodian to
I've never used that, so I can't tell you on that one.
But I do think, I do definitely believe on interoperability. Mm-hmm. In fact, if you look at the history of software products, I don't think any of them has really survived on its own. Even if you look at the most secretive projects down by the US Army or whatever, they will probably rely on some kind of open source tool developed by Bob and Alice in a little basement. So, I'm not saying that is interoperability, right? Because that the other thing is creating dependencies from somewhere else. But what I'm trying to get at is that you shouldn't be that cocky to think that you're okay by yourself. That's what I'm trying to get at. Right?
That was a really nice way, a really polite way, a democratic way of saying it. Just out of curiosity, this wasn't even on my list, but now we're talking about Bitcoin. Do you have any theories like who created it, or what are your thoughts? Like, I mean, I'm just curious what you think about it, because it doesn't matter to me necessarily who created it at all, but it is fun to speculate. Do you have any speculation on who might, if it was a team of people, or is it possible one man could come up with such a great achievement?
I believe that definitely one man can come up with a great achievement, but So I definitely don't think that he's an Aussie living in London. Definitely is not that Australian guy living in London. No, I think that Ralph Finney probably. I mean, what I've heard about him is that he had a pretty gifted mind, and he was, the way he wrote apparently is very similar to the writing style of the Bitcoin paper. Was it a group of individuals? I think that sometimes humans, we give too much credit to conspiracy theories. If it was a group of individuals, probably would know by now, unless all of them are dead. I don't know if you get 5 guys in a room to keep a secret, how long they can keep it for. So imagine if one of them had a wallet with 1 billion coins, 1 million coins worth millions and billions of dollars. I think everybody would know by now. Trust me. But I really don't know. But whoever did it, all credit to that person, because did an absolutely hell of a job. And equally, a lot of credit to everybody else that has maintained the network at the very beginning, the very first years. I think that those guys were absolutely amazing. So those guys should be rewarded and should be given a ton of credit.
Legends in my book for certain, just absolute legends. Let's get back to your project though. Sure. Tomorrow is the IDO, right, for NiffI?
It's being pushed. It's being pushed because Ethereum is melting, and I mean, I think today a basic transaction would cost you $400, $500, $600. So we cannot expect anybody to be able to buy anything tomorrow, or pay $500 to buy $50 of something. I mean,
I'm not going to say I haven't paid a big premium to buy Nami in the last couple of weeks. I may or may not have, but yeah, $500 is a high premium too. I don't expect the average person to pay that, so I understand. What do you have a new date?
No, so we have been talking to the Polka Starter guys today, back and forth quite a bit, and it was agreed that today is just it doesn't make any sense to risk doing it tomorrow. So probably over the next couple of days we will announce when we will do it. But it is
Sunday might be a good day because the network seems to be slowest on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a good idea. No, but I think that no pun intended, our project being, trying to do what it's trying to do is it fits the narrative of today's problem, right? So we have a layer 2 that fixes the congestion charges. What we're building, it is a suite of DeFi products that today, as you said, are bloody expensive to use. You pay premiums you didn't even know your transaction will go through. You just hope, right? Or you will hope that this or that bot will not front run you. And yeah, man, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that.
So. Yeah, I was pretty hot in the DeFi summer last year around this time, and we thought 30 to 100 was expensive. And, now we've gone up a few orders of magnitude from there. It seems like it's pretty crazy. When, how long after the IDO would you expect to launch? Is there any sort of timetable there, like to get everything up and running, or?
So we're quite aggressive on that, yeah. So this summer we're definitely going to have products to play with. That is the whole idea. We are notoriously known for locking ourselves in a room and developing and deploying. That's exactly what we're going to do. Well, actually, we have been working on some parts of the product since earlier this year. So the first module is finished in 3 or 4 weeks from now, the on and off ramp. Then we're going next to the deployment schedule of Nami 2.0, which is something that we're currently working on. I cannot disclose too much about that, but I've already done it by saying that this summer we will be deploying the tooling. And I would of course like to hope and expect more days like today in Ethereum, especially around the time when we launch Nami 2.0 and the NiiFI tools, because it would be great. It would be great for us. It would be the best possible marketing.
Yeah, it is. Can you give a quick, like, just like for somebody that might not be as familiar with NiffI, the project, can you give a little bit just a brief rundown of it?
Yeah. So again, so some of the guys in the team has been involved in I would say the very early versions of DeFi before it was called DeFi. So again, Mark was involved in a couple of products around gaming in Bitcoin. They had billions of dollars in stake, and himself as well has been around Bitcoin since 2011. So after studying quite a bit the different DeFi products, we discussed internally, and we agreed that we could build a platform that could make DeFi mainstream. You know, so if you look at the current landscape of DeFi, yes, it moves a gazillion, a ton of money, but the total number of users isn't that great, that big, right? So there are a lot of barriers of entry. First of all, the technology is clunky. Second, if you bring a friend from the street right now and tell him to get into DeFi, you will have to go through through multiple steps. So there's a lot of friction. So it comes down to getting rid of the friction. And third, of course, you need to build something at scale, right? A scale that can easily be adopted by other industries. So those are kind of the pain points that we want to eliminate. So make it something fast, cheap, where the transactions are final instantly, and that can be adopted by any industry. But effectively, it's going to be an automated market maker and a lending platform that we can repurpose and offer to many other industries and partners, of course.
Super exciting. The KYC AML portion of that, is that voluntary? Is that something that that's just something an institution decides to, an application or what, a part that they can build into their ecosystem, or is that for the entire infrastructure of the protocol?
So it is absolutely optional. So I have to be very clear about that. So for example, the first version we will deploy will be mainly targeting crypto users, right? And it will be a self-custody solution, like if you would be using Uniswap. Then if you would like to opt in for cash in, cash out, for example, then indeed you need to KYC AML because those are the rules. Now, but it is also true that there are going to be some of the modules built in the system that will make it easy for institutions to adopt it. So if you are, for example, a bank and you would like to offer DeFi product to your customers, the only way you will allow it to do that is if you meet the regulations of the market. So if you're a financial institution, you have very strict ones, and KYC AML is definitely one of those. So furthermore, if you will have the ability to build a walled garden for that system and for your customers. And that is something that is kind of the byproduct of building the solution on top of Nami. So Nami is the layer 2 protocol that we built in 2018 and has been on mainnet for 30 months, going back to the tokens that you were referring to before, by the way. And one of the compromises we made when building Nami, it is that it is not censorship resistant. So to be clear, we give the ability to any third party building on Nami to again build a walled garden, right? And this ties back to the conversation when you were asking me if I were a maximalist or not. And I said I'm a pragmatic guy. And when it comes down to building technology, there is one simple premise that you need to follow, which is build what people want. So you cannot go to a bank and say, this is DeFi platform you need to use. There's no KYC ML. You don't need that. That wouldn't work, right?
Yeah.
That wouldn't cut it, no.
No. Great, another great answer. Is there anything else like on the roadmap side that you want to talk about as we're concluding here?
Well, no, I guess that the most important is to know that we are well within the schedule. we're working pretty hard. We feel quite excited about it, and I mean, your guys, your viewers should come and join us. We are super welcome to get questions, and we're pretty approachable. So super happy to help anyone to learn more about NiiFI and how is it going to work.
Yeah, I reached out and you got back to me pretty quickly. I appreciate that. So they're definitely you guys are definitely easy to get a hold of, and you're not hiding like some of the teams out there that you might try to contact. Last question for you. It's a double barrel question.
Sure.
Because I always ask everybody at the end what Bitcoin means to them. I have to ask you what Bitcoin means to you. We've sort of talked about it a little bit, but personally, what it means to you, and what obviously your projects mean to you, Nami and Niffy.
What Bitcoin means to me? That's a good question, actually. I suppose it means opportunity. It is an opportunity, first of all, to learn about a new way of thinking, a new reshape how the financial world could be done. It's an opportunity to, just to meet great people that I've met in this environment, good friends. It's an opportunity to challenge the status quo as well. And if you're a bit of a rebel, then that's always a good thing, I suppose. And the project, what Nami and NiiFI means to me, it means a lot. I mean, I've been working on this like a dog nonstop for many years, so I'm pretty deep into it. But it means as well, it means also opportunity. So I've met some really good friends. Some of the guys in the team I've been working for 10 years. It definitely gives me the opportunity to learn new stuff. Gives me as well the opportunity to push myself a little bit more, something that I like, and gives me the opportunity to solve much bigger problems than any of us. So that's pretty substantial. I think it's worth it.
I think you covered everything important there. Did your family ever have to drag you away, or?
Yeah, but don't speak too loud. I don't want my wife to hear you. I get into more trouble. Yeah.
I hear you. Jacobo, I appreciate you coming on the show today, sir. It was a pleasure getting to know you personally a little bit, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this project, as I already noted. I'm an investor in it. I definitely have a lot of faith in what you're building, so I hope you continue to have success, and I hope the IDO gets off the ground here soon.
Thank you very much, and I'm sorry that Barcelona is not going to win this year.
Yeah, they need to bring me in as a scout or something. They're not doing too hot lately. I don't know what's going on over there, but yeah, maybe sometime I'll see you out and we'll watch a match.
Definitely, it would be good. It would be fun. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I'll say goodbye in 1 second.
Sure.